Welcome to the Writing Process Workshop, presented by Jennifer Kiesler, Writing Studio Coordinator at Kaiser University in Fort Myers, Florida. There are, within the writing process, several necessary steps. Writing does not begin with pen to paper. It begins with ideas and organization. After conducting the pre-writing brainstorming, research, and organization planning, the student will begin to write. The student first writes the introduction, which includes the thesis statement, then the body of the paper, and, finally, the conclusion. Brainstorming is a process where the writer gets the idea out of her head and onto the paper. There are multiple ways to accomplish this. One way is to connect various ideas in a cluster. The writer can begin writing words or simple phrases, relevant to her topic, on a piece of paper. The writer can cluster the ideas into groups or subtopics. In this example, the topic of the writer's paper is smoking. When the writer thinks of smoking, she thinks of how unhealthy it is, how much it costs, and how it leads to hygiene issues, such as bad breath. Another way to brainstorm is to create lists. After the topic is identified, use subtopics as headings and then list ideas underneath the appropriate subtopics. This brainstorming activity works especially well for compare and contrast essays, or with topics that discuss the pros and cons of an idea or policy. A third way to brainstorm is to create a tree identifying the relationships between ideas. The writer can write her ideas down on a piece of paper, and draw arrows to show the interconnectedness of the ideas to the topic, subtopic and one another. After a topic is identified and the writer's general ideas on the topic are formed through brainstorming, it is time for the writer to research their topic. Research is important even if the purpose of the paper is a persuasive or expository essay. It is great for the author to have their opinion on a topic, but opinions must be supported by facts. Research should come from a credible source. What is considered credible will depend upon the topic of your writing. Generally, scholarly works, books, and newspapers are credible. Internet message boards or blogs are not. The thesis statement is the most important sentence in a paper. The thesis statement tells the reader what the paper is about, and what the writer's purpose is when writing the paper. The thesis statement is similar to a compass. It lets the reader know the direction being used to get to a specific destination. The thesis statement is the main point of the paper. It is not, in and of itself, a fact. However, facts will be used to support it. Turning back to the example of a paper about smoking, a thesis statement may state, smoking is a serious problem that can lead to devastating physical, economic and interpersonal consequences in people's lives. Thesis statements are not facts, but they will be supported by facts. Supporting details will become the body of the paper, but those details should be shared with the reader up front, in the introduction. Supporting details should be organized in a way that relates them to one another, and to each other. As an example, supporting details can be organized by categories or subtopics. Supporting details can be organized by time periods, or supporting details can be organized by cause and effect. The basic essay structure includes an introduction, a body consisting of at least 3 supporting paragraphs, and a conclusion. Many novice writers think that a conclusion should end with a surprising twist. That's only true when writing the next great American novel. A conclusion in essay writing is simply a summary of the essay. Conclusions should only include information already discussed elsewhere in the paper. An introduction should introduce and then define the topic, discuss its relevance, and present the main idea. When drafting an introductory paragraph, visualize an inverted pyramid. Introduce the paper with the broad definition of the topic of the paper. Whittle that broad topic down to its relevance until you narrow it to your main point. Going back to the example of the essay on cigarette smoking, the broad definition of the topic is the hazardous effects of smoking cigarettes. The relevancy of the topic is that the costs of disease strain the nation's healthcare system. This leads to the main point. So the introduction of this paper would read, "The hazardous effects of smoking cigarettes are widespread. In the United States, the costs of cigarette-related disease strain the nation's healthcare system. Smoking is a serious problem that can lead to devastating physical, economic and interpersonal consequences in people's lives." The destination of the paper is clear from the thesis statement. When writing the body of the paper, each paragraph should open with a topic sentence that supports the thesis statement. As an example, if the thesis statement is that smoking is a serious problem that can lead to devastating physical, economic, and interpersonal consequences, the first topic sentence will introduce the health consequences. Every essay needs to end with a conclusion. Most students fear the conclusion. However, the conclusion is simply a summary of the paper, which has already been written. No new ideas should appear in the conclusion. The conclusion restates the importance of the topic, reviews the pertinent discussion points, and summarizes the subtopics. Once the paper is concluded and formatted, and all source material cited, the essay is complete.